This is Dennis Romeo from Nevada Matters. Welcome to this week's Business Matters with Chip Evans, heard nationwide over America Matters media stations. Chip has been a senior executive in large international corporations and also an entrepreneur who has started numerous companies as well. Chip is a true business enthusiast who wants to help your business grow and thrive. If you love business too, you're going to love this show. So here's your host, Chip Evans.
And welcome, Washoe and the world, to Business Matters this week. I'm excited to have you listening in, and thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it. This is a production of America Matters Media, your home of community radio. And although we stress that we're community radio, we consider the world our community. Geez, if you ever listen to our morning news show from 6 to 9 a.m. on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, you'll hear calls in from all over the world, sharing just what's going on in their community. And it's an exciting thing to be here at America Matters Media. And one of the excitements that I get is to talk to people that I have deep respect for and that I've been able to watch them evolve their business. Business Matters as a show is intended to provide a little insight for business owners, aspiring business owners, on things that work and things that don't. So you're better off having listened. So let's see. I think I met my guest today 4 years ago, or maybe 5.
Yeah, almost 5.
Okay, and if that's a familiar voice and you were listening just a little while ago, I've invited Oliver X to spend some time with us. Oliver is the publisher and owner of the Reno, Tahoe Tonight magazine. He is the host of the Reno, Tahoe Tonight radio show. He is also a well-known promoter in this area. And beyond that, almost a business coach for every artist in the Reno area, Northern Nevada area. And so I've watched Oliver create his sphere here and become such a valuable asset in our community that I actually wanted to approach it to glean some business knowledge from him. So, hopefully we've got some people that maybe stayed over after his last show moments ago, and we can talk a little bit to artists about the importance of business and promotion and that whole world. So, Oliver, welcome to the set.
Well, thanks so much. This is my first time on your show. I'm delighted.
One of the things we do, and as you do on your show sometimes, just kind of introduce yourself a little bit about your background. And I started out as a listener in my mother's womb.
Yes, and that's a great thing. First off, when a parent wants the child and plans the child, I believe that that's the push start that for unlimited potential in life, and certainly the 8-year gap between my second oldest brother and myself was one that was full of hope for my parents, who wanted a girl. And they waited to try to have one after having 2 boys, but they had me. So I sort of, I think I had a lot of diverse influences, and I was exposed to a very loving family who felt there was no limits to creativity, and they were both big music fans. What was lacking in their life was a solid business foundation, because most African-American artists at that time did not have management, and the management that was existing for entertainers at the mid-level of their career wasn't the top tier management. So, there's a lot of shady characters back in the day in the music business, but certainly it made me emphasize that aspect of my art. I was in a band that got signed called The Untouchables. I worked in that band. I was a dancer, and started off as a dancer, a background singer, percussionist, vocalist, that type of thing. And they went off and got signed, and I went off to UC Berkeley. And that was sort of a choice I made. But as they went out to great success and getting on soundtracks and doing world tours and getting on, Universal Records, and Island Records, I got more grounded into the music business part. And I had studied music at Fullerton College, and among other things, but was really aware that the music business is a business. So I became interested in promoting and, sort of managing the fortunes and aspirations of artists at that time. I was exposed to a lot of really incredible producers as well, like Alex Sema, who produced Berlin, and he was at my school at that time. The Lemon Street Stompers were like 18-time champions as the top college band ensemble in America. So, and then my vocal teacher was Sarah McFerrin, Bobby McFerrin's mother. So I had a rich foundation, along with my mom being an opera singer and her brother being a prominent jazz prodigy as a child who could play note for note Gene Krupa and, Buddy Rich.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that first off, I actually had a record produced, a recording. Wasn't actually a record. I was all the way. This was in the cassette tape era.
Yeah.
So we had cassette tapes that produced the songs that I wrote, and my wife and I performed with a small group, and I got into the promotion of that, and it gave me a really rich experience of, how much you have to do to get people to buy stuff.
Oh yeah.
And all the different channels that are available. And one of the things I really appreciate about my first exposure to you is it was really clear that you had an idea what guerrilla marketing was at that time, and it was important to kind of break out of the mold that existed here in Northern Nevada anyway, to do something different. And tell me a little bit about your first reflections on Reno when you got here.
I thought Reno, having traveled extensively worldwide, I saw Reno being sort of in a malaise that I call a second city syndrome. And second city syndromes are that you're the sister city of a much more famous city. And I saw it in Oakland, and I saw that it internalized in Oakland, being the second city of San Francisco. And I saw it when I was in Brussels, Belgium, being the second city to Paris in French culture. And then I felt it demonstrably here. But I also saw enclaves and different niches of creative freedom that I thought, wow, that's what I want to target and embrace, is that incredible freedom of the Nada Dada culture, of Burning Man, of some of the different underground artists that are visual artists. And then there was just an amazing cafe culture that we referenced in the last program, where open mic artists like Eric Anderson and Michelle Pappas and people like Kate Cotter and all of these incredible talents that are coming out through some of Todd South's work, and the good intentions and the hosting facilities like Java Jungle. It takes a really community to build a scene, and I thought that there was the beginning of a great scene here.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the foundation and the evolution of the Reno Tahoe Tonight empire in its current form. Certainly, you have an extraordinary publication.
Thanks
There
so
is
much.
nobody that looks at it, and no matter what socioeconomic bracket or whatever, they said, well, for what it is, this is really well done. And so, I know you certainly deserve credit for that, as well as
so
the
much.
people that you get around you. But tell us how this business evolved, and how did you get the idea to go do this?
I like that question. We started humbly February 6th of 2009 as a 16-page publication. I had been contributing to other publications. I was writing for Flickster.com as a movie reviewer, and they liked my snarky sense of humor as I would rip people like Keanu Reeves and his stiff acting. And so I thought, well, they were paying me really well to write basically online hit pieces against movies. And that was beautiful. I loved it. But I wanted a local experience. And so I started contributing to Reno Passport magazine, and then eventually got a radio segment weekly on Wednesdays on KRZQ. And that just really got me my interest up. I started meeting people, and I thought, I hadn't signed a non-disclosure. I hadn't signed a radius clause or a non-compete clause. And so when I left Reno Passport, I was free and clear to work in this region and sort of expose the artists that I thought needed the elevation and shine. And that was really my motivation, was to show and celebrate art, music, and culture here. Yeah.
And so it starts out as a monthly publication, which it still is.
Indeed.
It starts out 16 pages, and now you're up to...
Oh, we're at 96 pages. We've been 96 pages for about 2 years now. There was a great deal of competition in the indie market as far as for free publications. But we're distinct because we're not a pay-to-play publication. We will work on trade. We'll support artists. We have a low point of market entry as far as affordability. So it's cost effective for an artist who doesn't have a big budget to not only get an earned media placement, which is an article feature, but then to get a companion ad that'll help their intention, their bottom line, their record release party, whatever, or their show.
Well, there's something else that's going on here. Somehow you have built a cachet around it. I mean, it's the cool, hot place to be as artists and stuff, to get mentioned in your magazine. How do you do that?
I think it starts with an intention, and to me, this is a ministry to me. And some people have music ministries, some people have spiritual-based ministries, and move town to town. We're staying here and telling stories with words and pictures that I was inspired by publications to tell, like Life magazine, National Geographic. I've always been, a fan of Purple magazine, which is in Europe. It's based in France. Having lived in Europe, I saw some of the freedom that is expressed through magazine culture, and we wanted to tell great stories and look at the beauty of the underground and elevate that. And so I think people, when they see you recognizing their light, and in the Bible it says, hide not your light under a bushel. I not only do that, light creates light, and it seeks itself. So I was looking for these, we talked about a million points of thought here at American Matters Media. Well, there's a million points of light out there, and some of them just needed that extra elevation and platform.
We're talking with Oliver X, publisher and owner of Reno, Tahoe Tonight magazine, as well as host of the Reno, Tahoe Tonight radio show here at American Matters Media. We'll be back for a little more insight on the entertainment biz after these messages from our sponsors.
Northern Nevada's Building and Construction Trade Council is working for a better community for all of us.
We've been partners with local contractors since 1928 to provide qualified, safe, and productive workers. Workers trained in the latest technologies and methods to perform the highest standards of quality and efficiency.
We save taxpayers money by assuring union workers and their families have medical insurance and pension benefits, so they won't need public assistance. We also work to keep unqualified contractors with their shoddy work practices from building our bridges, schools, and public buildings.
Our Building and Construction Trades Council supports good jobs in our community. Jobs with a livable wage, basic health and retirement benefits, a safe work environment, and the pride that comes from knowing we are building a better Northern Nevada.
For more information about our local Building and Construction Trades Council, go to bctnn.org. That's bctnn.org. Or call 775-355-9200.
Support the quality contractors who employ skilled union tradesmen. We build it right the first time.
Hey, Eddie, I heard there's a brand new local business networking group that just got started here in the Reno area. Is that true?
You know what, Kelly? You heard right. It's called Business PowerNet, and you can find out more at businesspowernet.com. This business empowerment group includes luncheons, mixers, e-magazines, and other great advertising and networking opportunities, all for, are you ready? Only $10 a month.
Wow, that really does sound great.
It is, and let me tell you what I like best about Business PowerNet. It's fresh, it's fun, it's creative. Business PowerNet was founded right here in Reno by experienced business leaders with vast personal knowledge of our community and a vision for a strong economic growth here in our area. Business PowerNet is hosting their kickoff mixer in January right here in our studio at the Reno Town Mall.
You know I love our local business community, so I'll be there for sure.
Just go to businesspowernet.com or call 1-800-232-1971. Again, it's 1-800-232-1971.
Hey baby boomers, are you feeling stuck regarding your adult kids? Maybe you have a 20-something who's living at home and not contributing to the household. Or you're getting hit up for money again and again, and it's never being repaid. You love your child and you want to help, but you don't want to enable him. What do you do? Psychotherapist Linda Herman brings answers to thousands with her new book, Parents to the End, How Baby Boomers Can Parent for Peace of Mind, Foster Responsibility in Their Adult Children, and Keep Their Hard-Earned Money. Featured on radio, TV, PBS, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal, Parents to the End is striking a chord internationally. Ms. Herman's book provides a practical and compassionate roadmap for boomers who expect to be carefree at this point in their lives, but are experiencing a different reality. Psychologist Dr. Thomas Phelan says the advice here is priceless. Order now at parentstotheend.com and get a signed hardback copy, plus a free poster of the Bill of Rights for Parents of Adult Children. Again, that's parentstotheend.com.
And welcome back to Business Matters with Chip Evans and Washoe in the World. You're listening to my guest, Oliver X, who is a promoter extraordinaire for the arts in general. Special focus on music probably, but his magazine, his publication, and his personal support for the visual arts and other arts, even some theater stuff from time to time is excellent. So we appreciate that. I was giving you credit for having started up really doing what I consider guerrilla marketing, and
Sure.
let's use this section to talk about promotion opportunities and good business development in an artist environment.
Well said. One of our local business consultants posted not too long ago a quote from Stephen Covey, and we talked about the partnership that exists within a business entity. And a business is two things. It's innovation and then the marketing of that innovation. And that's what Stephen Covey talked about. And that's the fundamental aspect, is that you must market your innovation. Your innovation is an idea in the form of a service product or some type of business structure. And it's required to find a creative means and affordable means to set aside budget to your passion. And if you don't market, meaning spending money, setting aside a certain budget, even if you're a band, if you're a fine artist, if you're a gallery owner, you need to put your message out there on the street. And there's many means now of promoting. But I think as we get more technology and more instant communication, it's important to remember the 3D marketing tools like flyers, posters, going out and meeting people, moving tickets physically to your event, and telling the story of your business on the street. As we get more impersonal and more digitized, I think it makes the importance of human contact even more impacting.
So it's a balance. Posting it on your Facebook is good and does some good, but not enough.
Yeah. It's the difference between maybe cold calling on your 200-person phone list and maybe going out and doing the old system of door-to-door. We think about how we've evolved as a society. It's 2014. When was the last time you opened your door to a knock? It's rare. People now get down, don't let them see us. Nobody here but us TVs or whatever. But, it's interesting that there was a whole culture, a whole middle-class culture built on people going door-to-door and telling stories about marketing their services. Can you imagine where the middle class would be if there was no Hoover vacuums or Ginsu knives or Encyclopedia Britannicas door to door? Now, it would be unheard of for somebody coming up to your door and talking about knives. People would be like pulling guns on those guys. But back in the day, people had contact, and that built culture, that built a whole economy. And I think that businesses need to get out there and get 3D, get human contact, and become.
Well, for almost any artist, a fan base is really important, and so those relationships, and however you build relationships, and there are lots of ways to do that. I mean, I was always really excited about hearing this movement for having little small in-the-home concerts.
Yes, house concerts. Yeah.
And that's the whole relationship building thing. You're not going to sell 5,000 copies of anything there.
No.
But boy, if you develop some disciples out of that, that you're so much further ahead.
Small ball is about contact, getting the bat on the ball, and the Oakland A's were famous for that. Small ball. I'm a big fan of moving runners around the bases, doing the fundamentals of the sport. And in the sport of business, you need to make human contact. It's very important to tell your story. If you think about brands, personality leads the brand. Cal Worthington recently died. He was one of the heroes of mine. Go see Cal, go see Cal, go see Cal. So he would use hard consonant repetition and burn his message into you. So when you do a hard consonant sound, it makes a Richter blip on the psyche. And as we retain and absorb information, it's important to get that cadence and message going. And so when people do jingles actually resonate with the memory. So your branding. So there's sophisticated and very simple forms of branding that people could do. And part of it has to do with getting your message out consistently and being passionate and being the leader of your brand.
And for those of you from another planet that never heard of Cal Worthington, Cal is the largest car dealer in Southern California. And he had kind of almost a goofy but a real human presence there, and he didn't mind making fun of himself, but he got people down there and did a great job.
He wasn't just Southern California. He was Northern California, too. He had Sacramento dealerships.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had Redding. He had a dealership, And his dog Spot, which was a tiger.
Spot. Yeah, or it could have been an elephant, it was anything.
Spot inherited his empire there.
Well, the funny thing about that is that now we, the See Spot Run thing, the basis of first grade English development, we don't teach phonics anymore in the public schools. So most people in this generation do not know what Spot is. It's funny, but yes, he was a big idol of mine. Kentucky Fried Chicken had the Colonel, and I remember just having an affinity with that branding image. So when I started the magazine, and this is something that every business owner should consider, your personality and yourself. You're the first emissary and first representative of your brand, even before your services are consumed and experienced. It's you as a messenger, and it's important for you to live and be authentic to your brand. If I walked around in a three-piece suit, I don't think I would have been as effective, especially with dreadlocks and boots on a skateboard. It just wouldn't have worked. So I was authentically myself, and I showed the aspirational ideas that I had, and I expressed it through what I call a love letter to Reno, Tahoe in the magazine. And so I wanted that letter to be beautiful, the way you would give your wife or your lover a great gift that you take a lot of time and thought in. And so that's why we've resonated, I think, because we wanted to show the excellence.
Well, this may sound a little self-serving to some folks, but I just want to state, America Matters Media is really trying to recreate community radio, where we have 60 or so people that come through the studio every day. These are faces that we want to know. Debbie remembers every one of their names and gives them a hug. and Craig gets to know all of them. And, we try to make this a place where we can promote nonprofits. We can promote theater. We can promote music, concerts through our programs, through our ads. And one of the other things we've done is really created a rock bottom priced sort of ad thing here for every day of a month. We will produce free of charge for you a 60-second spot. We'll even write it for you if that's the need. And in addition to that, it's not just radio, is that we couple it with a really large social network that we participate in, so we can post in Facebook, and we encourage people to come online here. Another part is seeing your stuff, hearing about your stuff is one thing. Hearing you come on and talk about your stuff, you're a human now. You get to express the enthusiasm, and people here will ask you, so what do you want people to know about yourself and what you're doing? And how rare is that to be able to do that? And so we want to promote artists here too. I have a deep love for this. My daughter's an aspiring artist and theater person, and I've watched her since she was 5 years old in plays, and then she did her own singing gigs for a while. I really have an appreciation for what it takes, and we want to be part of that. So if you're out there, certainly seek out Oliver's advice here, because he kind of knows what works and what doesn't in this environment. But I think he would agree that what we're doing here on behalf of artists is also a helpful thing.
Oh, well said. Very well said. And when you're looking for a way to diversify your media message, spending $150 on 30 ads is a tremendous way to diversify your message and your reach, and get in a digital online culture, and get on the airwaves and tell your story. And it's just such a beautiful service that you're offering here. It's a great fit for any business.
Yeah. So it's multimedia advertising, the social networks, and every day for a month. And it's at that sort of pricing. I really had hoped that we would get more, and I still hold that aspiration, that people would say, geez, that's inexpensive enough just to promote an event. I don't have to be, I don't have to be selling anything other than come to my event. And I've got 60 seconds every day for them to hear it, and I've got a post on Facebook to support that. And why not?
Oh, for sure. I heard an odd and astounding trivia piece of trivia the other day that Americans lose every year $10 billion in change. I mean, in their pockets, in their, I guess the floorboards of their car, in their cushions, in their, the sofas. That's an amazing amount. So the little things matter. So if your business is leaking for whatever reason, stop that leak, reclaim the message, and reposition it at the most affordable means that you can, because the details matter. Definitely.
And the other thing is just you have to think of your approach as multimedia. I mean, it's the flyers, it's the greetings, it's the concerts at places where they're not going to pay you for a little while, and it's the advertising, it's the coming on the radio, it's heck, it could even be a TV ad
for sure
as an artist. So the arts are rich here. People have lots of choices, and Reno always has a festival do weekend. Right?
Yeah.
The Italians are in, the Greeks are in, or whatever. And so, you're in an entertainment-rich environment. You're going to need to stick it out there and do lots of things and expend energy and a little cash to make it happen. So
for sure.
So any last words here on the art scene and arts business from you, Oliver?
I think that it's a big part of our economy. And it's a way for cultures to redefine themselves and to grow. A huge book, influential book in my life, was a book called The Creative Economy, and you can look that up. And it talked about the major sectors in American culture that were impacting the economy, and most of them are artistic based, creative based. So that's a big part, and keep promoting and keep supporting our artists, because you're really helping the culture and the economy.
Well, stop by the studio here at Reno Town Mall and lots of other places around town. Pick up the Reno Tahoe Tonight magazine, and stay tuned on Thursdays at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock for the Reno Tahoe Tonight radio program.
Thanks, Chip.
For those of you listening on 99.1 FM Talk Fox News Radio, that wraps up this half hour of Business Matters with our guest Oliver X. And we'll see you here next week. For those of you listening on other stations in this great nation of ours, we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Music with an attitude. 101.3.
Nevada's wild horses are disappearing from our rangelands at an alarming rate. Every day, horses are rounded up, captured, sold, and sent off to be cruelly slaughtered for food overseas. The horses you see out your window today could end up on someone's dinner plate tomorrow. We simply must do something to save them. This great country was built on the backs of the horses. They helped us plow our fields, pull our wagons, and they deserve all the dignity and respect afforded other American icons. The horse helped us craft this nation we know and revere today. This is country music star Lacey J. Dalton. I have dedicated my life to save Nevada's wild horses, but I cannot save them without your help. Your generous donations are the only chance some of these horses have. Visit letemrun.com for more information. Join me. Nevada's wild horses are disappearing from our rangelands at an alarming rate. Visit letemrun.com.
LT Automotive, a family-owned, full-service automotive repair shop offering comprehensive automotive maintenance and repair for all foreign and domestic vehicles. As a Napa Auto Care Center, they take pride in offering their customers quality auto repair at a fair price. Their ASE-certified technicians go from start to finish to repair your car, truck, or van no matter what the problem. And at LT Automotive, you're never charged for your first half hour's worth of labor. LT Automotive, 669 Linden Street in Reno, just off Kitsky Lane. Find their website at ltreno.com.
Leave your footprint in the neighborhood you serve with Charter Media's new Smart Targeting. Promote your business to the entire Reno market. Or focus on your local neighborhood. This cutting-edge technology enables you to reach the right customers with the right message, based on where they are, who they are, and what they like. Visit chartermedia.com/footprint for more information. Charter Media. Long live your business.
Think local and support our local economy. Shop smart and get the best local daily deal at bumbledeal.com.
Bumbledeal.com is locally owned, serving Reno and Sparks with awesome deals from local merchants.
That's why we're buzzing.
Why is Bumbledeal.com your best bet for super savings and fun?
You get 50 to 90% off in local shops and earn free honey money when you refer a friend.
But wait, there's more.
It's the only deal that gets better every day till it goes away, but don't wait too long or it's gone.
Okay, get deals like this. 86% off childcare, 86% 76% off vocal lessons, 82% off eyelash extensions, 80% off a luscious mineral bath, up to 90% off dining.
That's why we're buzzing.
There's no better way to enjoy life, save money, and support our local economy.
The buzz is on the locally owned Daily Deal, where you get 50 to 90% off in local shops and support 2 local businesses with every awesome deal. Only at bumbledeal.com. Log on and join today.
Hi, this is Annie, daughter of Chip Evans. Hey, I took 2 business classes at UNR, and I'm here to tell you that you too can learn a lot by listening to Business Matters with Chip Evans. Well, here's the program. Pay attention. There will be a quiz.
And thank you, Andy. I've got my pen and pencil out now. I'm going to be prepared for the quiz too. So, for those of you that are regular listeners to Business Matters, you know every now and then I get on my high horse and I get a little preachy and I say, you know what? I appreciate what's going on in your shop. I appreciate your focus on that. But the truth is, if you're not paying attention to what's going on around you and your shop, you are missing out on a key ingredient of success. This is almost a restatement of the great real estate admonition. It's all about location, location, location. And so to that end, many businesses have banded together, particularly to be a strong collective voice in dealing with local government and developing together to organize themselves and think of themselves as also part of vital commercial districts and regions. And so we're actually going to talk about that today with my friend Dick Bartholet. Dick is here going to talk to us about the Regional Alliance for Downtown here in Reno. And I assume this is a good model for the country, and I suspect you listeners in some areas of the country may actually have some lessons that we could learn from you. So let me start first by inviting Dick to tell us a little bit about his background and what he's up to these days and how he got involved in this.
Thanks, Chip. My background, I work at the University of Nevada, Reno for in the Bureau of Business and Economic Research with the Center for Regional Studies, and it's all affiliated with the Nevada Small Business Development Center. So very business focused. And
is that all on one business card? Because I'm seeing like it's a complete back of card.
A lot of it's on one card. What's not on the card, by the way, if you look at my card, is a title, and people often say, "Well, I see where you work. What do you do?" And my response is, "Well, no one knows for sure, including me."
Job security. I like it.
And interestingly, I've been there now for about 16 years, and I went to work there. I was hired there actually because I was not an academic. It was because of my business background. One of the things I became affiliated with early on after I'd gone to work there is I was appointed by City Council to be one of the members of, at that time, the Citizens Advisory Committee for the Redevelopment Agency. And there was a organization that had been formed of businesses and property owners called the Downtown Improvement Association. It was sort of the private sector oversight for redevelopment, and I became a member of that organization as well. And when I eventually came off of the CAC, now it's the Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board. But when I came off of that after about 10 years, I was asked if I'd serve on the board of the Downtown Improvement Association. I'm going to call kind of the end of resources being available for redevelopment when property values went down in downtown Reno, particularly of gaming properties. The funding source to cause things to happen downtown, which is a tax increment, was pretty much all allocated to servicing debt. So the Downtown Improvement Association had a strategic meeting and said, what's our purpose? What should we really be doing? And we decided that what we really should focus on is broader area than just the redevelopment district 1, which was the original focus, to look at our downtown core and think about how this core played a very important and strategic role in our whole region. EDON had a strategic study done in 2006, and one of the lines out of that is that downtown is the living room of your community. And regardless of whether a business is looking at relocating out to the Tahoe Regional Industrial Center, or the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, or out to Stead, or in Sparks, or in downtown, they still are going to look at downtown, and that's going to be an important part of their decision for themselves and their employees. Plus, downtown has been historically an important economic driver. So we looked at this and said, let's refocus a little bit. And part of that was we changed our name. We became the Regional Alliance for Downtown, RAD, and website radreno.org. And our tagline that we adopted was "Every great city has a great downtown." Now, interestingly, across the country, what's been going on is there are a lot of knowledge-based businesses that involve the creative class kind of people that are locating in downtown cores. And there's a revitalization going on across the country that really is being driven by the private sector. Government can play a role in improving things downtown, but it's very much private sector driven. And that's going on in Reno.
There's an interesting cultural thing going on. The kids, I call them that loosely, the out of college in their first 10 years or whatever, really aren't that interested in cars. They're not really interested in being way out in suburbia. A downtown culture and walk around, have shops nearby and all that sort of stuff is very attractive as a lifestyle. They're choosing that as a lifestyle, and that seems to me that that's a bit of the wave that we're catching here in the downtown.
Yeah, pedestrian friendly and bicycle friendly. That's what they want. They want to be able to, if they take a break from business, instead of drinking coffee right there in their own shop, to walk down to a coffee shop and mingle with some of their peers. A nice pub to go maybe grab a beer or a glass of wine after work. Cheese shops, interesting retail. It is part of the lifestyle. What's really interesting is there's two major components of that. And you talked about the young people, the 20 and 30-somethings. The other component are people whose children have left home and they say, you know what, I don't want to mow the lawn anymore. I don't want to take care of a big house and yard. I'd like something downtown where I can enjoy all those things. I can walk to the arts, go see a play without having to get in a car, park a car, so forth. And that's the other component.
That's my life. I had to book in 8 minutes to get down to the nearest place you could get a cup of coffee, and a lot of snow up there, a lot of wind. And now I live on the river in downtown, and we walk to the theater, we walk to the downtown restaurants. Much preferred lifestyle for me right now.
Yeah. So those are the two demographic components that are driving this. And then in addition to the demographic components, you have what you think of as the economic components. Where are the primary industry jobs? Those are if you think about our economy, what are those businesses that import money? And they're exporting goods and services. Well, historically, again, it was the hotel casino industry. People came here, enjoyed themselves, left their money, and went back home. And that's still a very important part of our economy. But the new drivers, I've listed some of them that are some of the gaming service businesses. As gaming has grown in new jurisdictions, Nevada has the expertise. So whether it is marketing research or the accounting auditing services or security, we've got that expertise. We're exporting that. Data centers that are locating out around Reno often have headquarters or facilities in downtown. Business and financial services, advertising, PR, social media type firms, and if you go around and interview the companies in that business and that industry in Reno, most of them have more than half of their revenues coming from outside the area. So that's a primary industry here. Really cool. And a lot of that's tied to the Reynolds School of Journalism, which turns out some really talented young folks who want to live here. And to do that, they have to sell their services outside the area.
I was reminded when you were talking about the excellence of some of our PR firms and their customers being outside the area. I really get irritated when I find that some Nevada government entity will contract with an entity someplace else in the country to do work for us here. I think we've got more talent here than we give ourselves credit for sometimes.
Well, that's could be an issue, but on the other hand, when government entities in other areas contract with our firms to do this, we don't object. So it's a little bit of you have to think about how it all works.
I can't object. I may not reasonably object, but I can.
we have some that have real specialty areas in that industry, and KPS3 in health services and health care. they sell their services all over the country because they have marketing and PR expertise in that specific area.
So we've really created a lot of very specific commercial regions here in the city of Reno in general. And all of them are going through some interesting phases here. You want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, within our downtown area, we have these different districts. And this is kind of fun because it really adds cachet to our community. And someone can say, well, I live in a condo in the Riverwalk district. Or there's a cool little bar and restaurant in Midtown. And those are the two that probably have done the best job organizing themselves and marketing themselves. But the university district, I mean, you think about that, the university is a major economic engine. They spend over $500 million a year. Sponsored research is around $80 million a year. We have a financial and office district, and that's where a lot of these little tech firms are locating. The Cal Ave district has kind of been organized and then has been less organized. Wells Avenue, they did a great job organizing and getting street improvements and promoting their businesses. West of Wells, East 4th is just now really kind of ramping up. They've been organized for a while, but they're getting some new breweries and distilleries and things like that on East 4th. Ballpark District, the Pounding District is a conservation district, historic conservation district, but it also has a unique grouping of businesses. So one of the things that the Regional Alliance for Downtown is doing is trying to help these different districts increase their marketing exposure and how they present themselves. And if we could bring them all up to the level that Midtown and Riverwalk have achieved, or help Riverwalk and Midtown leverage their talents out to these other districts, we think that would be big for Reno.
I guess I live in the Pounding District. The new Hub coffee shop there is doing really well. Bartholet Bistro, I haven't seen them open yet, but I've looked through the window and all the tables are set, the silverware is there. And my favorite thing is Dorinda's chocolate. I'm afraid there's an addiction underway over there. Hey, we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors, who we love dearly, and pay attention to their messages, and we'll be back after that.
RenegadeRadio.org. Are you unemployed, looking for a better job? Hey, finding a job has never been trickier. So, what better time to get help from the experts at Join?
Join is a private, nonprofit job training agency designed to help you gain or improve the skills you need for the local labor market. Join provides services in 8 branch offices across northern Nevada: Carson City, Elko, Ely, Fallon, Fernley, Winnemucca, and Reno. Join also works with local employers to help them find great employees.
For more information about how Join can help you, call Irene at 775-336-4450 or come by our office at 1201 Terminal Way on Mondays at 10 a.m. for our weekly orientation sessions.
Got job hunting questions? Tune in at 1 p.m. on Fridays and listen to Find a Job Fridays with Lynette and Renee of Join. We'll share the best strategies to find great job opportunities and how to get hired. That's Find a Job Fridays at 1 p.m.
Make 2014 the year you start your favorite job ever.
Northern Nevada's Building and Construction Trade Council is working for a better community for all of us.
We've been partners with local contractors since 1928 to provide qualified, safe, and productive workers. Workers trained in the latest technologies and methods to perform the highest standards of quality and efficiency.
We save taxpayers money by assuring union workers and their families have medical insurance and pension benefits, so they won't need public assistance. We also work to keep unqualified contractors with their shoddy work practices from building our bridges, schools, and public buildings.
Our Building and Construction Trades Council supports good jobs in our community. Jobs with a livable wage, basic health and retirement benefits, a safe work environment, and the pride that comes from knowing we are building a better Northern Nevada.
For more information about our local Building and Construction Trades Council, go to bctnn.org. That's bctnn.org. Or call 775-355-9200.
Support the quality contractors who employ skilled union tradesmen. We build it right the first time.
Hey, do you want to score an awesome deal at some of your favorite local merchants? Want to get a group coupon discount without group coupon prices? Look no further than Lola's List, your #1 source for local deals here in Northern Nevada. Look for Lola's List at your favorite local stores and restaurants, or download your own copy at that's the number 4, lolascoupons.com.
Get 25% off all tanning packages at Tan Etc. Get a free entree from Jazz Louisiana Kitchen. And if you're looking for some new toys for your kids, how about 15% off at the Always a Fine Used Boutique? Buy and sell gently used kids' clothing, toys, and accessories.
To get your business listed in the next edition of Lola's List, call Herbert today at 775-247-4633. Once again, download your own copy of Lola's List discount coupons today at that's the number 4, lolascoupons.com. askforlolascoupons.com.
And we're back with Business Matters with Chip Evans, Washoe in the World. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We're listening to my guest, Dick Bartholet, tell us a little bit about the Regional Alliance for Downtown here in Reno. And it represents really a thought pattern for many commercial districts around the country. And particularly, I love this tagline, every great city has a great downtown. And so Reno's downtown is just not as cool and as great as it could be. Still got a lot of empty retail space down there. And what are some of the thoughts currently about enhancing the downtown or developments that you know are underway?
Well, first of all, almost all downtowns have these challenges, and you go to San Francisco, and people in Reno say, "Gee, we have this homeless issue." We'll go down to Union Square, and you see that we're not unique, and that's an issue actually nationwide. So yes, we have our challenges, and we're in transition. But there are some really good things that are going on. The occupancy rate and the rental rates for office space in downtown Reno is changing rapidly. Some of the businesses you would think of as not being downtown type businesses are locating there. So,
such as
in the manufacturing area, there's an entity that produces it's a diesel-based fuel that is infused with natural gas, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I've got it here. Some Advanced Refining Concepts, okay, and they're out in the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, but their office is on the 16th floor of the City Hall building, and within their office they host the Reno they sublease space or maybe provide it for free to the Reno Tahoe Open. So there's a manufacturing company with offices in Reno. There's a firm in Sparks, ITS Logistics, big distribution firm, warehousing distribution. They have decided that they have a number of operations that are best suited to be placed not out in their Sparks operation but in downtown, in part because they recruit and hire interns out of UNR. So they want to be relatively close to UNR, and the downtown area is the place to be for them.
Well, you've brought up a really interesting subject. I've had Maureen McKissick on from the city of Reno, who was the coordinator and the communication piece for the IBM Smarter Cities project. We were one of 100 cities around the globe chosen by IBM for bringing in their experts on kind of community development, if you want to call it that. And they did a pretty significant report, and they came up with a conclusion and spoke it very strongly that, you know what, it would help Reno if they thought of themselves first and foremost as a college town with the sort of business around it, rather than, we're doing business here, but we've got a college. And that really has some huge implications. And it seems as if the economic development community here has really adopted that as a theme. We need the university to be a driver for our development in this area. So tell us a little bit about that from your vantage point, Dick.
I think that's absolutely the case, and I think we're much more of a university town than people recognize. There's a firm in downtown at 200 North Virginia, I'm trying to remember, the Wells Fargo building, Optum Software. Optum Software is selling their technical services internationally. They spun out of the university. The two founders developed some algorithms, and they actually built the first supercomputer that was up at UNR. And they spun out of the university, and by the way, the two founders are still very much connected. I think they both teach in the College of Science at UNR. And they have employees. Many of their employees are university students as well. And so they're in downtown Reno, and one of the things that they talked about when I chatted with them was within walking distance is their bank, their attorney, their equity investor, their accountant, and a bunch of their employees who go to the university.
That's
They
perfect.
love to go to the ballpark. Their decision to start the business came together at Java Jungle. So there's a high-tech firm, very university-oriented, and their story is not unique. There's a number of businesses like that.
Well, that's great to hear. And it's on track based on some new positions that have been created, and I think even Heidi Gansert's hiring to really very consciously, very proactively connect with the community in ways that perhaps we've just been a little lax on over the years. And beginning to see it take some form now. And I think one of the things I like about the discussion about our downtown is just focusing on the corridors as well. The people coming from the airport, if they're oftentimes going through Midtown now, and all of a sudden you've got a lot of really interesting, quirky shops and restaurants, and it really does speak well for the city and make it an interesting place. And also, I know the downtown is also associated with the transit corridors that we're really focusing on developing Virginia Street as a transit corridor and 4th Street and tying it in with our planning going forward. And I think all of those improved bus stations along the way actually really up the game for our access to the downtown. And so other developments that you're seeing that are in that category? Or
Well, I think the other thing that is really key is connection to the arts community. And if you take a look at what the arts community has to offer in downtown, it's amazing. And I'm saying that in a broad sense. So it's performing arts, it's visual arts, it's art town. It is the Philharmonic. It's all those things, and the central focus of all that is in the downtown core. And that's part of that connectivity. So it's the university, it's the arts community, it's the new economic drivers, it is the funky little restaurants and retail shops. And all those things that make downtown a unique place to live. And we have some really special things here. Our river, our Whitewater Park, has become very, very attractive to our community and to people who come to visit. And most communities don't have that to offer. So I challenge anybody to go downtown in the summer months, the Arlington Street Bridge, and look around at the interaction between people that live here and that river that runs right through the middle of town. How many places can you work where you can take a half-hour break on your lunch hour and fly fish and catch edible fish? So really unique stuff that we have.
Well, we got to hope that the rain and the snow continues here a little longer.
Absolutely.
You're going to walk down there, and they're just going to be small creatures crawling over rocks.
Yeah, and if you go without a little more water, if you go rafting in the Truckee, you'll be bumping your bottom on some rocks unless we get some more water flowing down that river.
Well, I salute your mentioning the arts, that being the first part of the show that we had today, because it is a vital thing. I see people wanting to talk a little bit of like we're the Riverwalk in Texas there, and the San Antonio, I guess, is a place where they do that. And having a river come through town is actually a big deal. People feel really good about it. It's a landscape unto itself, and certainly as vital as it is. And I love having that open air theater out there for performances. People really enjoy that, and we're using that well, I think.
I would agree fully. I wanted, before we run out of time, chat a little bit about the focus that we have at RAD, some of the things we're doing. We have a Safe and Clean committee that is taking a look at how we improve the safety and cleanliness of downtown, and then the perception of those things by the community. And we've achieved a number of different things. Economic influence, which is focusing again on the districts and how to make it more attractive for business location. Life and culture, and that comes to the arts as well as river rafting and the Santa crawls. All those are part of life and culture. And then public policy, where we're trying to deal with the different ways of addressing downtown and how to continue the path of improvement.
It's interesting. I have a daughter of mine who has relocated to Hong Kong for a year here and going to spend another year there. and she talks to people about these crawls, and all the different costumes of the people just having fun together and stuff. And she's 26 or something like that, and people are just amazed. They think that's the coolest thing ever, and she does too. And so, it's, I know from time to time we think we're having trouble with those things, but they're worth preserving. And I love what Reno is as far as just a constant venue for major shows from outside. That's a feature of the downtown that I think brings a lot of people down for the Italian festival or the Greek festival or Hot August Nights, as well as other areas of the city. So we've got a lot of good things going, it feels like.
I think we have a lot of momentum now, and it's taken a long time to get there. It's been fits and starts, and if you take a look at when the Riverwalk was first developed, and a lot of the discussion over, well, should we have movie theaters downtown? Is that appropriate? And then the success of the pedestrian traffic that developed. And it goes on and on. But finally, the different pieces are you're getting some synergy between them. And then, of course, the districts around downtown do nothing but add to this. So the success of Midtown, the success of Wells Avenue, the Riverwalk, those things help each other. It's the rising tide lifts all boats, and we're seeing a rising tide in downtown.
Well said. So can people actually get in touch with you guys or attend your meetings, or how does that work?
Yes, absolutely. I would suggest people go to the website, radreno.org, and they can get on our email list, and we promote our different events on that website. On February 13th, we actually have a luncheon coming up to celebrate some of the companies that are part of the new economic driver in downtown. We're going to have speakers from Trainer Road, Crazy Tooth Studio, and Reality Engineering. And that will be at the Silver Legacy, 11:30. It's $25 for lunch for RAD members, $35 for non-members, but we love to have people come. We would like them to go to the website and RSVP first, so we know how many to plan for.
Okay, well, it's great to hear that things are going on in the downtown area, and for the communities outside of this area that are listening in, your downtown core is really important. Pay attention to it. Don't give up on it. All of us have to reinvent ourselves every now and then, and that's what downtowns have to do too. You're listening to Business Matters with Chip Evans here at American Matters Media Production. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.